And let's see, now we should be live again. Probably add a new link, so all the poor people that had just started joining. So let's try that again. So let's see. Okay, people are finding their way to this one instead. That's good. All right. So the plan is to build from scratch LiveView application. Now, I'm not sure how far we'll get on this one. Hey, Carl. Nice to see you make it to the stream. And so the idea here is to build a photo sharing or media sharing app, web app, which essentially should provide you with a website that you can share with your near and dear to provide them access to pictures, movies, writing, without sharing it to the rest of the world and without using sort of scary proprietary messaging services that and sort of trying to help you coalesce and bring together your disparate groups of family and friends. So whenever I have a nice picture of my daughter that I want to send to some friends and family, I have to decide like, okay, but how many of the people on Signal do I actually want to send this to? And how many of the people in other messenger apps should I be sending this to, and this and that. Okay, YouTube is complaining again. Oh, they are complaining that my bitrate is too high. I'm not sure I can tweak the bitrate midstream though. So do they want me to change that while I'm going? That seems weird. It says it's higher than the recommended one. I've used this before. Hasn't had an issue. All right, we'll try it. Let me know if anything's weird with the stream. YouTube is throwing me an error, but I think we're okay. So let me know if audio is clear, if video looks fine. It should be a decent chunk of 4K at a good bit rate with needlessly high quality. All right. So I want to do this thing in LiveView for now, or rather, I'm planning to do the web UI in LiveView, and there will be, thank you, Carl. So far, so good, apparently. So there will be a ton of different interactions in this. But I wanted to try to go for, hey, Callum. I wanted to try to go for the minimal, least viable solution possible for now, and just build the part where you can upload media, and then we can show media, and then we can start rolling from there into something nice. Yeah, so starting on that end without trying to tackle sort of thumbnailing and processing and sending to S3, but rather doing it in a very simplistic way. And I will be cribbing a lot of code from the Noted project, which I built. I've had some help, but it's my project. And and ripping my own code seems legitimate to me. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna do. So the first thing would be sort of modeling the base piece of content, and I think that's a post. I think I'll call that a post. And I guess if we want to be fancy and use some Elixir modeling concepts, we should be doing this as a context. I have mixed feelings about context, but we can start there because it's easy enough to change. So let's call this context publishing, or at least let's call the folder publishing, and let's create a schema that is post. So module familiar. So the starting project is just mix phoenix new -- live and a project name, but I saved you guys watching the npm install. So this would be the schema, or the schema module. Sector.schema. So I don't think a post has to have a title, but I want to offer the possibility of a title. I think you can set null true on the schema itself, right? Ecto schema. I guess the null part is only... The default would be nil in this case. All right. I think a piece of body text is something I want to support as well. Default that to empty string. And then I'm going to want it to have a ton of, be able to have a ton of pictures or similar media connected. That's not going to be part of the post. So I'll just add timestamps. That should be it for the schema. Default nil for field. Oh, right. Should be adding whatever type they are. Like that. String. String. And that's the start. And so we set up this fun standard stuff. There are generators that would do this for me. I don't feel like using them right now. So none of these are really required, which is a bit odd. Sure. What I will generate is migration add posts. That should create our migration for, I don't want to open the seeds. And if we dig through this for an example of the migration. I don't memorize this stuff because that's boring. Okay. Great table. Posts do. So during this vacation time, I'm thinking I might end up doing quite a few of these streams. So, and if I do, some of them might be a little bit longer just to make sure we can really get into things. Oh, that's okay. No, true. So this one doesn't really need a default. It can just be default nil. Not sure if they need a default when they're nillable. I don't think they do. So that's creating the table posts. I think I might just turn this one into a multi-purpose. Hey, I was renaming that. So we create them at the same time. And so let's model this already. One piece of media. So that should have a file path. It should have file mime or mime type. You can call it mime type. You always end up needing a mime type. You can call those a string. They're not that long. File size. Let's see. Let's call this original file path, just because I know we will be dealing with thumbnails and conversions at some point. Or we'll handle those when we get to them, so I don't have to type original all the time. Let's call it byte size, bit size. Size. So those are some very technical pieces of duplicate title. Yes, that is a duplicate title. Good eye. Thank you. And let's see when we ref things. So this one has a reference to a note ID, and we'll do something similar. We want a post ID, references, posts, on delete, delete all. Timestamps. I think we want more here. We want to add order, so we can order each media type under its containing thing, and then caption is what I'll call it, but it's essentially a text related to the piece of media. That should be nullable. Path text. Yep. So media.ex. is one of the challenges of streaming sometimes. don't have as much space as I usually do. Hard life. There we go. So we have field file path. Next. MIME type string. Field size. And then we have one of those fun references. So notes file belongs to. No. This should happen in post for one thing. Media. Oh, this is one of the singular plural. It's super annoying potentially, but I don't think we'll have an issue. Hope not. Posts belongs to post. Familiar.publishing.post. So we want to be able to cast all of these. Cost. Well, they required. And that's file path, MIME type, size, order, post ID. Can't be without those. Cool. Complaints. So yeah. Invalid unknown type. Right, it's all a string in the eyes of the ecto schema. It's just important for the database what kind of thing it is. I don't have the right database. Cool, let's set up SQLite a little bit. Something like that. Zero point 5.5 seems like the latest. Cool. Don't need Postgres with this. Go to the repo, switch out the adapters. SQLite 3. And in the config, now set up a dev config, which here it's all of that stuff. Don't care about that. Database. Dev.db. Let's do dev/ and we can add it to get ignore. Don't think I've even done a git repo yet. So. Cool. Mix ecto create. Compiling SQLite. Sweet. I'll hydrate while waiting. Oh, lots of people joining today. Sound off in the chat. Let me know you're here. Always nice to know who's watching. And don't hesitate to bring up any questions. On occasion I can even type and talk at the same time. Probably super easy to follow. But let's see. So we set up those. And if we're going to be... So I don't think I will be doing context in the way contexts are typically done. Hello, BY. Don't know who you are. You have a mysterious name. Migrate failed. What have I done? Near order, syntax error. Let's see. Syntax error. Size, integer, order, integer. Oh yeah, her anonymous. I should turn off the blinking cursor at some point. That's a pretty good idea. Hello Joel. Hello Oliver. I guess there's a setting somewhere. User settings would be fine. Blinking. Cursor blinking. Solid. I'm guessing. Yeah, okay. That should do it. Yeah, I'm also wondering if order is a keyword in SQL. But in that case, we have a SQL adapter bug. Let's see. Position. Let's call it position and see if that resolves it, because I'm not married to the word order. But also, if that's the case, I need to report it. Table posts already exists. Well, that's fine. Let's reset. Okay, then it runs cleanly. I have a hunch that that should be a usable word instead of being a keyword. It should just be escaped. So I'm gonna post an issue. Can't have a field with name order. Shouldn't reserved words work with escape. Right. I think it's possible to use reserved SQL keywords as field names, such if properly escaped. Then into migration. Not running due to naming it order. Figured I'd let you know. I've submitted issues to these guys before, and they were very clear that they wanted to know. All right. Let's see. So now we have these things, and I'm considering not using context and rather going with the Keithley approach of using Ecto sort of in a faddish controller, partly because that's very convenient and I like convenient, but also it gives it moves a lot of the control to the call side, which I think is a good move in many cases. All right. Let's see. I know I've done file uploading in Noted, and it's a little bit particular, so I'll take a look there. Maybe we should actually just start the server and make sure I haven't broken anything. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We have a working Phoenix project. Or rather, I can have that open. Close that. File finder was not what I was trying to do. I had already navigated where I need to be. There we go. So, bunch of stuff related to auth. We're not doing auth yet. That's later. Assign images. Yeah, that's not relevant. This, allow upload. So this is part of how LiveView does file upload. Oh, Callum, that's a good question. It's not that I don't like or use the Phoenix generators. I typically do. I'm starting to feel like I know enough about what they do to just quickly reproduce it and not get any extras. And I mostly didn't feel like it this time. And if you generate contexts automatically, you get a like CRUD and a list function. And those are really nice and convenient in the way that you didn't have to write them, but it's not actually what I want. So I could have generated only the schemas. I could have generated, it's like what part and how much do you want to generate? So it's not a deep level of thinking going into what I chose to do there, but yeah, I didn't feel like it essentially. So we want to do things to our socket. We want to allow upload. Let's call them files because they're any old files. And let's accept any max entries. I will go with 30. So 30 pictures I think is fair. Maybe a 64. I wouldn't recommend it, but hey, it's not a crime. Auto upload true is pretty neat. Progress at handle progress 3. So oh, that's not what I was trying to do. Format. There we go. Don't know if I have the auto formatter on. Yeah, undefined function, handle progress. That's expected. And now we return the socket. And soon the template will start blowing up because we're no longer using the template. And so I'm not really handling any events right now, so I might as well strip those out. Let's find our handle progress so we can see what we need to do in that one. So handle progress for files. Entry done. Consume uploaded entry. Socket entry path. Client type MIME size file name. File names are pretty nice to have just in that, but it's also sort of accidental information leakage, so I might not want to save those in this case. Notes, file storage path, copy that to there, create file. Yeah, so this is, it handles the upload if it's done, and otherwise we get the chance to handle upload progress information. So that's good. We can definitely work with this. So I'm gonna skip that one. And so let's do save file to storage. Let's just path do. And we want save media. Oh, well, this is actually interesting. We're building up a post, but we can't really save a piece of media until we're ready to save the post. So arguably we should have a draft field for just saying this is still a draft. So we can fix that right now. We don't have a sensitive database, which is super nice. Is published Boolean false. And this is not nullable, and I think that's the default there, but why not be explicit? Cool. Mix ecto.reset. No? Compilation error. Have not saved this yet. Cool. Not saving that. This does not exist. So path base name of path. Just gonna clean this up until it compiles, essentially. Not provided for predefined FP save media. Right. Cool. So let's say that the first page is always about creating a new piece of, or a new post. So you have the title, which can be nil. But if it is, it should probably be represented that way for now. It can have a body, which is that, and is published is false. So this is our post, and this is our media, and we can then create these up here. And we can assign post, media. Cool. So before we start handling upload progress and stuff, let's take a look at this, because this is not working for sure. Let's start a server again. And while this is all very nice, I will remove all of it. All of it. So let's do an h2 which says publish your greatest moments. Let's get fancier. Sweet. And now we want to make a form, and I would rather reference this than actually remember how to do it. Form 4. Right. Do we want to do this with a change set? Becomes the first question. And maybe for sort of title and body, but it's also so very, very little data. So it's like, does it even need going through a change set? That's debatable. Oh, let's roll with it. Let's try that. So rather than this, then we would be aliasing. And this is where we're breaching the idea of the context and just going straight for the jugular, I mean the schema. See if we ever end up backpedaling on that. I'm not precious about sort of which approach I'm taking. The way we're doing that here. Yeah, so we're using change note, which would be that. So I think typically you do this. What? Oh, it's not called no post. And the offer still stands. If you have questions, do just shoot them. It's quite nice to have someone to talk to while doing this. Right, I haven't added anything. So this is the post change set. We'll see if I end up keeping that. But using a change set makes rendering a form a little bit easier. So then we have Phoenix change and Phoenix submit. Save. So on a submit, on change event, we call validate. We get a validate message or validate event, and on submit we get a save event. Do we actually close those, or do we just... No, we just use an end form element. Just this. So this would be a title text input. Should be able to use essentially the same stuff. I'm not adding tailwind yet, so probably later. And this error tag is why it's pretty convenient to have a change set. That's why I do it. And then we can do the same thing for the body. And I'm not going to be adding rich text editing for the body. Not yet, anyway. So let's skip that. We don't need any classes there. This is very consistent, right? There's an end of string, expected closing. let's see, 13. So this one is a closing one. Or do you mean that? Oh, right. Because we're in a function thing, it would have like an end. That's fair. Probably like that. Or, yeah, something like that. And now, the moment I entered something, it tried to call the validate and failed. So if we look at the error here, we can also see the shape of the message, I believe. Handle event validate, and then some params, and then the socket. So we can do that. Right, this doesn't need to do a no reply socket if it's gonna be a no op. Not sure it has reloaded though. Am I missing something? Handle event, validate. So there's the CSRF thing. Undefined function error, handle event 3 is undefined or private. Let's just restart it. I'm not sure that's actually correct. Apparently it is. Last message. Phoenix socket message. Event, join ref, blah, blah. Alright, let's take a look at the handle event in this one. Let's see if I'm just skipping something. That looks to me like it should be working. Ah, good catch. I was absolutely blind to that one. Thank you. It should not be a private function. So now it's successfully calling that and it is doing absolutely nothing. Sweet. Thank you. That could have taken a fair bit of time to figure out. Don't know even why I did it that way. Just fingers moving on their own. I didn't do it intentionally, but. All right, so something we can do here is restate this change set to try to validate some things. So if we start typing, you can see that we're getting post filled with some fields. So let's pass, we should be able to do this. Rather than that, I think we can just make sure it exists. Don't care about the rest of the params. And then we can assign post. And that should give us some validation. Like, I'm not sure we can break the validation on this. So we could do validate length for title and let's see, how is that formatted? Yeah, max. Let's see, tweet should be enough for anyone, right? An old tweet. And then if we keep doing this, eventually we should be over that limit. Doesn't feel like it was doing anything. So far it's valid. Let's see, familiar publishing that post. Oh, there we go. That was a lot longer than I expected it to be. Okay. I would now expect some output for this. So the error output is not necessarily happening. Oh, sorry, my inspector is going a little bit wild. I'll collapse it in so you can see it. There we go. So I would expect this to produce an error tag now. Let's try that again. No error tag. Wonder what that's about. Well, no need to dwell on that right now. Validation is not my top priority. Not at the moment. So, if we want to save these, we should probably add a submit button. So let's start with just submit. Save. Let's call it save and publish. I don't remember if you need to amp it within. Input type submit. Do I even know HTML? Oh. There we go. So now if we do this and that and hit that one, nothing happens. Nothing fun happens. Because we do have a save event handler, but it doesn't do anything. So we can alias the familiar.repo. We can do this. We can do this and move that, call this save again. Oh, right. Actually, something I should be doing to get the validation is probably shove that validations through something, right? like pretend I'm going to insert it or something. Validations and constraints. I don't know. I feel like this one should already be showing showing the errors. Well, let's see if we can't get some saving done at least. So let's take post, type that in there, throw that in there, and then that's gonna be ugly. So let's do that. Repo dot insert. Then case result do. We have an OK post. That's fine. Doesn't really mean we want to do anything in particular. Typically we'd redirect to somewhere, but we don't have anything, any interesting place to send them. So let's do so ideally this would mean that they get a nice error about what failed. I think that should be enough. And if we're doing this as well, I would map put something here. I can see. Yeah, map put is published true. So we actually publish it. That is a little bit Yankee of a way of styling that, but and this should do a flash, but just all right. Let's see if that does what it's supposed to. Insert into. Boom. Success. Triumph. Glory. All right. So if we actually want to handle uploads now, and we have like 4 minutes left to stream, so let's see if we can do it real quick. Like, so we're inside a form. This uses a separate form, which, yeah, that's probably a decent way to do it. So much garbage here. So much garbage. All right. Garbage in the sense that I'm not sure I need it right now. It's very useful code. Right, Phoenix submit, upload files. Phoenix change, validate upload. Don't think I'll be doing either of those. Like upload files, maybe. Skip those. Let's not bind those. Let's not have that. Not that. File in files. No, that's media. But I'm not going to be spitting out anything right there right now. And here comes a bit of interesting. So here's a Phoenix drop target, uploads files. I think I still called it files, right? Yes, I did. Right there. Entry, client name, client type. Add uploads, files, entries. Do. So this is creating a submit button for uploading in if there is any files, or if there are any files. So we can hide this live file input if we like. We don't have to do that. So stripping down that example, this should be what we get. And if we do, so maybe style equals background color silver. Oh, let's do C. And with 480, right? 480. No, it's like clearly an area. Let's see. I do have some sample pictures. Sorry, things might look a little bit weird on your end for now, while I track down some pictures that I can use. Let's see. Yeah, and both of those are fine. My own face and an inky thing. I should be able to drop them, but okay. I guess that's not doing what I expected to, for sure. Next drop target. I would also actually move this entire form above, because it's more important than the text. But if I select a picture, it's being fairly clear that there's that. I do have auto upload true. I wonder if there's any issue with me removing those these submit things. Let's take a look at what they were doing. Let's see, we add them. It's quite possible that they actually are important. And that I was just skimming past whatever they were used for. Let's see. Upload files and validate upload. Yeah, they exist. Validate upload. Yeah. Okay, so validate upload, no up. And upload files. Consume uploaded entries. So this tries to do the exact same thing as this one. Why is this complaining variable path is unused? That's fine. Oh, well, it does a very similar thing to the other one. Not the exact same. But we should not be doing any of these for now. I'm a little bit over, so I will be wrapping up, but I want to see this semi-working at least. I'm not seeing that button show up. Not seeing any events triggering. So some of this upload stuff is a little bit magical in a way that I'm not super in tune with. I mean, it's good stuff. It's just not always the easiest to debug. Okay, so that should give me something if it starts to actually. Okay, so it's doing a progress. Cancelled, false. Done, true. Pre-flighted, true. Actually, noted was probably doing something important in here with saying okay. Not sure. Well, actually, we're not changing the state at all, which would sort of explain why I'm not seeing any changes. Or is it? I would expect this to do something. Well, the upload events are going through. So this is as far as we get this time. This will not be a public repo, so it's going to be harder to follow along in that way. But if you're interested in digging deeper in this and seeing more of where I get with a little bit more time, I plan on doing this for at least July. We'll see how far that gets us. Maybe we ship a product in a month. I doubt it, but I want to get towards that because I actually want this because I want to use it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good week, end of the week. And typically I do these on Fridays. Today's an exception. I am busy tomorrow and I figured I still want to do it, so it's on a Thursday. All right, have a good day now. Bye.